Luis Cuba Arias, undefeated middleweight prospect. You know, everybody, they see you in the Mayweather gym, put in the work. I want you to tell me a little bit your history in boxing. Take me back to when you first got into it. How did this sport come into your life?
Well, when I was young, I was a real active kid. You know, I used to like to play a lot of sports. My father used to be a boxer as well. So I remember one time I saw my father's coach. You know, my mom introduced me at some random carnival. So I was at the community center, you know, just trying to get into sports. You know, I was playing baseball and I was trying to play football and all that. And then I wanted a sport that was year-round. So as I was at the community center, you know, I saw the boxing gym. You know, and I told my mom, like, hey, I want to go see, you know, if I can box. You know, I need a sport that's year-round. You know, I'm getting bored of, you know, playing baseball for 3 months and then, you know, stopping because, you know, I was so young. So then, you know, I went up there. You know, I was about 7, 8 years old. You know, my coach was like, you know, bring him in on Monday. You know, this isn't cut for everybody, but just, you know, bring him in on Monday. Yeah. Came on Monday and fell in love with it, you know. And then as I got older, you know, I started maturing, and you know, when I was around 14, 15, I took it seriously, and my skills started to develop, and so I just stuck with it, and I realized, you know, I had a serious talent, and I wanted to take it to the farthest level as I possibly could. So, you know, ever since then,
that was Milwaukee, right?
Yeah, I was back in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
What was some of your best memories just being an amateur? You know, what was that like for you?
Well, you know, I had an extensive amateur career. I mean, again, my first fight I was at 65 pounds, I think. You know, it was fun. You know, I learned a lot. You know, I learned a lot. I gained a lot of my experience in the amateurs. You know, I put up over 180 fights, maybe around roughly. I was able to see the world. You know, I was able to see Europe, see South America, see a bunch of different countries, and you know, that's when I started to realize, you know, boxing can take me to far places. You know, as a 15, 16-year-old, I was in Turkey, you know, representing America, and it was just you know, such an amazing thing to me. You know, the fact that, you know, fighting could take me so far. You know, and then that only opened up more doors. So it was fun. You know, I definitely enjoyed my amateur career, and I'm glad and I'm happy that I had such an extensive career because it helped me a lot. You know, I was able to learn a lot of different styles, able to adapt. You know, in order to be a good amateur, you know, you got to win 5, 6 fights in a week. You know, you don't know who you're fighting every day. It's a different guy, it's a different style, so it forces you to adapt. You know, when you're a good amateur, you're forced to adapt because you have to win 5 fights. You know, so those type of things just really helped my overall boxing. You know, and it helped me. It definitely helped the transition to the pros much easier.
Later into your amateur career, you spent some time kind of traveling to Las Vegas to get some more Chad Dawson and a few other things. What was that like? How did that come about?
Well, when I was an amateur, you know, I started making a lot of noise. You know, I started winning big tournaments and catching a lot of people's eyes, and my style caught a lot of people's eyes. And Hasim Rahman, you know, which was a former heavyweight champ, was one of the first ones. You know, when he saw me at a tournament, him and his son, he approached me, and he was like, you know, you got the goods. You know, he basically told me I got the goods, and if I ever want to take my training to the next level, to come to Vegas. So that's what I did that, you know, when I was about 17 the first time I called him up, and I was like, you know what, I want to try Vegas. So I tried Vegas, you know, I went to like Florida and I went to Cali, you know, try to see everything, but in Vegas is where I felt like the boxing was, you know, where the capital was. Okay. So I met Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, and I linked up with Eddie right away. That was the first person I worked when I got to Vegas, and we clicked instantly. So, you know, he was helping me a lot, and the first time he helped me, I was still, it was 2009 maybe, you know, and I had came back to Vegas for the 2010 Nationals. I won that, and when I came back, you know, Chad was getting ready to fight Pascal.
Chad Dawson.
Chad Dawson was, you know, so Eddie was like, Eddie and Rock was like, you know, throw him in there, you know, just throw him in there, see how he does, you know, go ahead. And I was definitely with that. I was, you know, it was experience, you know, he was a current world champion at the time. So I was completely with it, and I wanted to test myself, you know, and I did good, you know, I did good. You know, Chad saw me and he kept me, you know, he started giving me my compliments as well. So it was an experience. It was fun, and it was a good thing for me, and it helped boost my confidence, and it helped me out a lot. And it just helped me in my mind tell me that this transition for the pros wasn't going to be too bad for me.
And then later, part of Floyd Mayweather's camp for Miguel Cotto, that's when you really kind of got introduced to the Mayweather gym. And just tell me how that camp was for you.
So yeah, so then I had won that tournament with Chad. So then I went back home. So then it was Olympic trial time. So I was trying to make the Olympic team. So I came back to Vegas to try to train to get ready for that. And some things happened. You know, the Olympic trials were like a week before, or 2 weeks before Floyd was starting camp with Cotto. So, you know, it fell through. You know, we couldn't go to the Olympics. So when I couldn't even try to make the Olympic team. So when I got back to Vegas, Big Rock was like, you know, I got a connection with Floyd. Basically, like, Floyd is looking for middleweights. Jay Leon's already, you know, got already called up, and me and Jay Leon were already working at the Hit Factory, you know, before all of this, you know. So Jay had already been called up. So, and me and Jay were around the same weight. You know, so it was, I could have auditioned, really. You know, I could have been a problem, but the thing is, no one knew who I was, because I was only an amateur. So, you know, we came to the gym, you know, Big Rock, you know, I just came in quietly, just behind Big Rock. You know, everyone knew Big Rock because what he's done in the sport, you know, and he already knew Floyd. You know, they were growing up together. So when we had told Eddie, you know, and Big Rock, they talked to Floyd. And Floyd was like, all right, you know, we'll see what the kid got, basically. So, you know, they talked it out. You know, Floyd gave me an opportunity, and that's when I, you know, got an opportunity to spar Floyd. And I had already held my own with Chad Dawson. So, and I was already sparring Ishe. So once I sparred Floyd, I knew I was going to be all right.
All right.
So I was all right.
Good stuff. Best of luck.